Okay.
We will start with the opening puja. Over to you, Brother Piya.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Anatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kāmesu miccacara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now let us do a short sitting, watching the breath. Let's breathe easy and relax, affirming the breath and letting it go. This is a beautiful act of renunciation, which is the key practice in Buddhism. We learn to accept things as they are, and then we let them go. This is the coming and going of life. Don't do anything to your breath. Just watch it as it is. Be easy and relaxed, like the way a baby breathes. And this is the source of your inner peace, when you learn to simply watch the breath, or follow the breath if you like. To help us focus, we begin by counting the breath. The counting helps us to push away immediate distractions so that we are in the present moment watching the breath. Now, for today's counting, breathe in, breathe out, 1, and smile, inner smile. In, out, 2, smile. Breathe in, breathe out, 3, smile. Breathe in, breathe out, 4. Breathe in, breathe out, 5. 1 to 5, 1 to 5. Or you can count up to 10 if you like. But don't go beyond 10. The number is too big. And don't count less than 5. The number is too small. So between 5 and 10, you can choose 7, 8. Let's stay with the same number you have chosen, so it's easier to remember. And if you forget the number, just go back to number 1. Don't think about it, don't worry about it. Just let your breath take care of itself, and all you do is just sit there and watch it. Sometimes this is called open mindfulness, open focus. Simply watch or bear watching. There are many words, don't worry about the terms. Simply be with your breath. Happily with your breath, smiling at it. The smiling also helps to push away distractions. Mind positive and happy. The happy mind focuses more easily. Breathe naturally. Sometimes your breath is long, sometimes short, sometimes deep, sometimes shallow. During your own sitting, you can do the counting as long as you like. As long as you feel happy and peaceful, go on with the counting. After a while, you may notice you don't need to count anymore because you feel very relaxed, and you notice that the counting actually becomes a bit loud. We think what's loud. In other words, it becomes a bit distracting. That means it has served its purpose. And you can stop the counting, go on to stage 2. 2 is called in-out. The short name is in-out. The breath has come in, note it as in, and smile. The breath has gone out, note it as out, and smile. In, out, in, out, smile, and whenever you like. It's quite natural sometimes. Thoughts will come in, or you might feel itchiness or even a bit of discomfort. Most of these feelings are temporary, so just smile at them, they go away. If you notice the way you sit is causing you pain, then just slowly, gently, with a smile, adjust yourself. So just let your breathing be easy and relaxed. You will notice the breath slowing down, becoming more relaxed, more refined, more peaceful. If you do this properly, you will begin to notice there are spaces or gaps in between your breaths. In, and then there's a space. Smile at the space. Out. It's again. Smile at the space. Now the space is not even. Some are longer, some shorter. Or maybe you might only feel the space at just one point. Maybe you breathe out, you feel it, but You don't notice it when you breathe in. That may happen too. It doesn't matter. Once you notice the space coming, the space growing, that is the third stage. The third stage, you watch the in-breath, notice the space, smile at it, feel the peace, feel the joy of the space. And then out, space again. In space, out space. If you don't notice the space yet, it doesn't matter. Just on watching in, out, in, out. Sometimes the space may arise just like that, because you are ready and the space can be there quite long. Don't do anything to it, just smile at it. And you notice your breathing becoming lighter, more refined, because you're so relaxed and calm, so your breath also becomes gentle and calm. You need less breathing, so to speak, less air. You're still breathing. Keep the space as long as you can. Just feel the joy, feel the peace. Smile at it. At any time you feel sleepy or tired, you can just stop your meditation to take a deep, slow breath. Hold it for a while to absorb all the sleepiness, tiredness, and negative energies. And then just breathe out that tiredness and so on through the mouth, half open mouth, like silent whistling. Just let the air out. It all out, everything out, out. And you feel refreshed. Just breathe normally. In, out, in, out. You feel very good, very refreshed after that. Do this only once or twice at the most if you need to. It's a refreshing breath, cleansing breath. In space, out space. Wow. Now in this third stage, the space, you just watch, observe. You can't do anything. You just observe the space. Feel the joy and the peace. Smile if you like. When you feel really good and peaceful, you feel so peaceful, you don't feel like saying anything. Because even saying in, out seems to interrupt the peace. So we know that, we sense that. So we don't have to say in, out anymore, because we already know the in and the out naturally. So this is the fourth stage, the silent stage. You know the breath is coming in. Oh, there is the space, very peaceful. You know the breath is going out in the space. Sometimes the space can be very long. Longer the better. Don't force it. Just keep it natural. Keep it natural. Just smile at it when you like. Whenever you notice thoughts coming, just smile at it. Otherwise, just feel it. Let the peace and the joy pervade your whole body and mind. Before we end the sitting, we review our practice. We come out of the meditation and we just check and see how did we do. Remember the peaceful moments, the good feeling, remember them. They will help you in your future meditations. You just think about that peace and you want to meditate again. Or whenever you need to feel happy because you're facing some difficult moments, think of this wonderful, peaceful feeling again. So remember this good feeling. Also, if you like, spend a bit of time examining any difficulties you face, how they arose, how to overcome them. Just remember them so that you're better prepared next time if the distraction should arise again. So this is what we do during the review period. On your own, you can spend this review period a bit longer, up to you. And when your hand is sitting, just open your eyes. Just sitting quietly for a short while. We begin our meditation slowly, gently. We end it also slowly, gently. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good. Now let us prepare ourselves for the talk. Okay, right. So today we're going to study quite a number of suttas. Depends on the time. Actually, I have in mind a total of 5 suttas. So we'll see how it goes. At least we will be studying at least 2 or 3 key suttas. Now, if there's an interesting title we can give to today's class, we can call it something like a theory of everything. A theory of everything. What is everything? That's what the word Sabba means. So if you look at this Sutta 7.1, big number 1 there, actually it's in volume 7. It's called Sabba Sutta. Sabba, in Malay, it is Sarba. Okay? And Sabba also means all. So Sabba is in Pali. Sarva is in Sanskrit. The discourse on the all. Of course, we can translate Sabba as a kind of adverb, the discourse on all, but it doesn't sound very, very right. So here I made it a kind of noun, the discourse on the all. Okay, S35.23. And what is the all? You can see under the theme, the all that there is, all that we are, all that we were, all that we are, all that we will be, are the 12 sense bases. Right? And now we know what these are. So this is a kind of a Buddhist theory of everything, if you like. Okay. So saying here, quote from this Women's Talk with Einstein. No idea is conceived in our mind independent of our 5 senses. That is, no idea is divinely inspired. Everything is right before us. Of course, yes, the most important thing is missing here actually, but it's mentioned under the word mind. So in Buddhism, we also take the mind as the sixth sense. So there are altogether 6 senses. This is what we're talking about today. The sutta is very short, very easy, and very important. So it is important that we know this. Let's look at page 12 now. The sutta is just on one page. Sabba Sutta, the discourse on the all, S35.23. Thus have I heard. Once the Blessed One was staying in Anathapindika's park in Jeta's Grove near Savatthi. So there's this famous monastery where the Buddha lived for the last 25 years of his life, and often many suttas were taught there. Then the Blessed One addressed the monks, Bhikshus. Bhante, the monks replied in essence. Imagine there are 100 monks, when they all say Bhante very softly, it sounds like a soft thunder rumbling. The Blessed One said this. Okay, notice in this case, the Buddha is teaching unprompted. In other words, he feels this is what he's going to teach that day, the audience, the monks, we are ready. Bhikshus, I will tell you the all, listen to it. And what, Bhikshus, is the all? Or what is all? The eye and forms, the ear and sounds, the nose and smells, the tongue and tastes, the body and touches, the mind and mind objects. This, Bhikshus, is called the all. Or you don't have to say call, you can say this is the all. It's also right. So that's all. So the key idea here are the 6 sentences, a pair of what are called internal faculties, the internal senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and the external sense objects, form, feeling, form, sounds, smells, taste, touches, and mind objects. So this is the idea, all right? So now there's a concluding verse there where the Buddha says, this is all we can know. Number 4, Bhikshus, if anyone were to say thus, rejecting this all, in other words, they disagree with this, rejecting this all, I shall make known another all. I will have another idea, I have another theory. That would be empty talk on his part. When questioned, he will not be able to reply, and moreover, he would meet with vexation, he'd be troubled. And what is the reason for this? Because Bhikshus, it is not within his domain. You can't think of anything more than this. Because this is all we have to think, right? You can see the mind, number 6 there. So the 6 internal senses, 6 external sense objects. On the right side of the Pali words, notice the first word, Chakku, is the eye. It's not just the eye here. Chakku is the conscious eye, the seeing eye. The eyeball is called Akhi, so there's a special word, but it's not so often used. Most often Pali we use Chakku. And what Chakku sees is called Rupa. So again, you notice in Malay, in Bahasa Indonesia, Rupa means form. Sota, Sotang is the actual Pali word. The stem form is the word which is found in the dictionary is simply Sota. Sota means ear. Sada, sound. Ghana is nose. Gandha is smell or fragrance. Juha, we pronounce as Juha. In the Pali and Indian languages, the V is always pronounced as W. There's no V sound. There's the letter V, no letter W, by the way, but the V is pronounced as W. It's opposite as in German. So Juha. And rasa is, of course, taste. And the body is kaya, body, physical body. And then potaba, it's quite a long word. Potaba means touch. It's not feeling, it's touch. But of course, there is a sense of feeling. And then there's mano. Mano is mind. There is also chitta. Okay, chitta, mano, vijnana. They're often used interchangeably. One day we'll look at their differences. And then there's the word dhamma. Dhamma simply means mind objects, thoughts, if you like. So the word dhamma has got many, many meanings. So this is one of the meanings. All right. So these are the 6 senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and then their relative objects: form, sound, smell, taste, touches, and mind objects. So you got the 6 sense objects. Together, they are called the all. This is all we can know and all there is to know. In other words, how do we get knowledge? We get knowledge through our 6 senses. We know through seeing. Right now, you see things in front of you. We hear things. You're listening to me, right? The second sense. We smell things. We taste things. We feel through our skin and body. And of course, we think about it. Is there any other way? The Buddha says you can't. You will never be able to think of a 7th way. It's more than 6. This is all. These are your source of knowledge, if you like, your means of knowing, okay? Your tools of knowing. Right? And what can you know? You can only know the 6 sense objects. You can only know forms, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and thoughts. So mind objects or thoughts. So those are the objects, right? This is a very simple statement, and you have the essence of Buddhist epistemology here. Epistemology means theory of knowledge, all right? So this is the first teaching, which we know is very simple and it's amazing. It covers everything. All that we are our 6 senses. The body, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 constitute the body, and number 6 is the mind. Okay, so we have the 5 physical senses plus the mind. So just spend a minute, just look at it, how beautiful and simple this teaching is. So this is the first sutta we will learn. So look it up again. There are lots of notes. Since you find this sutta simple, make sure you read up the notes which precede the sutta. All right. Now we're going to look further and see what happens. What can we learn from this basic idea? And we come to the second sutta, the Devatā Rohitassa Sutta. All right, you can see number 2 there. So this sutta number 2 in volume 7. The sutta title is simply Rohitassa, name of the person, and then there's a brackets in front, Devatā, because it comes from the Devaputta Samyutta, the collection of teachings to Devas. You can also call it Devaputta Rohitassa Sutta if you like, because there is another Rohitassa Sutta. It's S2.26. And then you notice there's a wiggly sign there. It means it is kind of similar, but not completely. A4.45. You can also go to Anguttara, you find something similar there. The theme, the world's end, cannot be reached by going. Now here again, you see a very interesting use of language. You remember in the Angulimala Sutta, you find Angulimala was running, chasing after the Buddha, and then he shouts to the Buddha, says, stop, Then the Buddha turns around and said, I have stopped, but you have not stopped, right? So you find the usage of 2 languages there. And you're going to see a similar use of 2 languages here again. If you do not know what I'm talking about, just wait a moment. I'm going to go into it. Okay, let's go into the sutta now. Just the sutta starts at Sawati. Okay, further down, a bit more down. Yeah. Okay, there we are. At Sawati. Okay. Now you can see a square brackets introduction. This is missing in the Pali of the Samyutta, so we have added it in. The notes will tell you where it comes from, just to give you a more complete background to the narrative. It's not that the sutta is something missing or anything like that. It's the way the storytellers, the sutta compilers have edicted the suttas for us, so we can get information from different reciters. they are like editors, you know, so some of them recorded more details, some only give the key ideas. So as modern researchers, we know where all these things are, we can put them together. So at one time, the Blessed One was residing at Jeta's Grove in Antapindika's Park near Sawati. Then when the night was well advanced, maybe about 10 to 2, the Devaputra, a young Deva, a young heavenly being, Rohitassa, his surpassing beauty lighting up the whole of Jeta's Grove. So these are radiant beings because they're full of energy. So they come out at night and partly it's at night, so you can see the difference of brightness. And he approached the Blessed One, saluted him, and stood at one side. Now, Devas normally do that, and they normally, in this case, stand out of respect to the Buddha. And also, they're not very comfortable coming down to earth because it's like us going into the jungle. So the earth to them is so smelly and crowded and so on, whereas their heaven is so spacious, you know. So they stand and then respectfully bow to the Buddha and put their palms together and they talk to the Buddha. Section 2. Standing at one side, the Devaputra Rohitassa said this to the Blessed One. So notice in this case, it's the Devaputra, the young Deva, speaking to the Buddha, is reporting to the Buddha. He's very happy, so he's sharing something with the Buddha, or maybe he has a question. So here he asked the Buddha, is it possible, Bhante, is it possible, sir, by going to know or to see or to reach the world's end, where one is not born, does not age, does not die, does not pass away from heaven, is not reborn, okay? So this Devaputra, he was an ascetic in the past life, so he knows a few things, and he's been meditating, then he dies, is reborn. So Deva, so he has all this knowledge still with him. It's not exactly Buddhist knowledge, but it is some idea he has about life and death. So he says, is there, can we reach, you know, can we go to this part of space, maybe the end of space, where no one is born, no one grows old, no one dies, and beings don't fall from the heavens. Okay, they don't say pass away from the heaven, they say fall from the heavens. It's the same word, chavati. Chavati is to die. Devas die. And they're not reborn. Okay. Or to put the question very simply, the Deva asks, is it possible to reach the end of the world by going? Now, the Buddha's reply, section 3. As to that end of the world, Awuso means friend, where one is not born, does not age, does not die, does not pass away, it is not reborn. It cannot be known, seen, or reached by going, I say. So that's all the Buddha said. Very simple answer. He says, no, you cannot reach the end of the world by going. Of course, in modern terms, we can interpret this as the universe has no end. You can go on and on and on. You come back to the same spot. Einstein would say, that's one way of talking about it. Or you just can't reach the end of the universe. No one knows where it is. All right. So this is the Buddha's answer. And that's it. And then this Devaputra, this young Deva, is very happy. He says, it's wonderful, Bhante. It's amazing, Bhante, how well this is stated by the Blessed One. And he repeats everything the Buddha said, that we cannot reach the end of the universe by going. Okay? But the Buddha said, it's not finished yet. Okay, now let's go down further. The Buddha has something to say now. But before that, this Devaputra continues his story, okay? Notice the quotation mark still open. Section 5. So this Devaputra says, once in the past, Bhante, I was a seer. Seer is a kind of a holy man living in the forest, meditating, a rishi, you know? A seer named Rohitassa Bhojaputta. So his old name was the same, previous life. Possessed of psychic power, able to travel through the sky, through space. He could travel astrally through his meditation. Okay. Just as as swift as a strong-bowed archer, well practiced, trained, tried, and true master archer, could easily shoot past the shadow of a palmyra tree, a palm tree, with a light arrow endowed with such speed. So he said could fly through the space like this speeding arrow. Of course, today we know, oh, speeding arrow is not that fast. We say a speeding bullet, Superman, right? So this is the language of the Buddha's time. So he said he could fly through space at the speed of this arrow, really fast. Okay, let's go down further and see. Then he continues, my stride, the pacing, his movement was such, Bhante, that it spanned the Eastern Ocean and the Western Ocean. Then, Bhante, the wish arose in me, I will reach the world's end by going. So he's talking about the ancient world, the oceans are very far apart. So he could fly very fast. So I said, why don't I try? Go to the end of the world. It's like when I was young, I used to cycle around, first time cycle outside my house. I said, wow, it's such a big place. I'm going to find out where this lane leads to. So I cycle down the lane and see whether I reach the end of the lane. So Devatā was very curious. Let's find out what is there, the end of the world. If you saw the monkey story, the monkey tried to do that. He raced with the Buddha to the end of the world, so to speak. And there were 5 pillars there. Actually, it's the Buddha's own fingers. 7. Although possessing such speed and such a stride, and having a lifespan of 100 years, living for 100 years, and traveling for 100 years, pausing only to eat, drink, to take meals and snacks, and to void and pee, to dispel sleepiness and tiredness, I died along the way without reaching the world's end. All right, so this is his story. Of course, if you're intelligent enough, you read this and say, how can he travel 100 years? No? Because he'd be a little child. He won't be able to fly. Because at what age did he become a seer, a rishi? So this is just what's called literary language. It shows that he flew through all his life. He could have lived longer than 100 years, maybe 120 years. Or Ananda lived to 180 years. So basically, he's saying that ever since he became a yogi, a rishi with all these powers, he spent his whole life flying. Okay, I don't know how interesting that is, but well, he did that. Okay, so this is his story. He says he couldn't find the end of the world by traveling to it, like Superman flying through space faster than a bullet. And 8, he says, it is wonderful, Bhante. It is amazing, Bhante, how well this was stated by the Blessed One. As to that end of the world, also, where one is not born, does not age, does not die, does not pass away, does not arise, it cannot be known, seen, or reached by going, I say. All right. So he's very happy. The Buddha agrees. So he realized that he's correct. Then comes the surprise. The Buddha turns the table. Okay, or rather, the Buddha changes the language, because so far they've been using worldly language. You're talking about the world in terms of space. Okay, now I can talk to you a bit about the 3 worlds. Okay, we can also entitle our talk the 3 worlds. Of course, some of you may say, oh, I know what the 3 worlds are, sense world, form world, formless world. That is in terms of meditation. There's another set of 3 worlds, that is the world of beings, the first world, the world of beings, that is human beings, animals, and so on, the world of living beings, Satta Loka. Then number 2, there's the world of space, Okasa Loka. Okasa means space, in the figurative sense and as well as the literal sense, space. The world, physical world, the world outside, the universe out there. Okay, this is the second meaning of world. Now, the Buddha is not so much interested in his first 2, because you can't do anything about this. It's the third one, Sankhara Loka. That's the one that the Buddha is teaching us to see and understand and to overcome. We free ourselves from the last one, the world of formations, the mind-made world, the one that we studied in the first sutta just now. Remember the all, that is the Sankhara Loka. So we have Satta Loka, the world of beings, Okasa Loka, the world of space, the external world, and then Sankhara Loka, the real internal world, this world we project outside, the world of formation. This is the one we have to deal with, the world of the five aggregates, the many words for it. So the Buddha further says, however, Avuso, without having reached the world's end, there is no making an end of suffering, I say. So Avuso, in this very fathom-long body, fathom-long is about 6 feet, in this very body, along with this perception and mind, I declare. What does the Buddha declare? This is very famous. Look at the words. I declare the world, the arising of the world, the ending of the world, and the way leading to the ending of the world. Now, this sounds very familiar. Yes, these are the Four Noble Truths. Put in another way, in terms of the world. Instead of suffering, we put the word the world. So there you are. You see the world as sankhara. Sankhara also refers to suffering. So the Buddha is saying, in our body, in this conscious body, lies the world. So what is this body? Remember, it's not just flesh and bone. It is eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and then the sixth sense object. That's the world. It includes the mind, body and mind. If you can't remember everything, just remember body and mind. That's the world. That's our world. We create this world through our thinking and through food. We support our body, and then our thoughts further support our mind. So in this very body lies the world, the arising of the world, the ending of the world. Since the arising is there, the ending also is there, and the way to end the world. Now this is interesting. What does Buddha mean by this? So the rest of the teachings explain this. This is what we're going to look at in a while. Okay. Then the Buddha closes his teaching to the Devaputra by reciting these verses. Okay. Verse 10. The world's end can never be reached by way of going through the world. And yet, without reaching the world's end, there is no release from suffering. Okay, we say line A, B, the line 1, line 2, I call line A, line B. The language is worldly language. The world refers to Okasa Loka, the world of space. Whereas in line C and D, third and fourth line, the world refers to Sankhara Loka, the world of formations. Okay, so that we don't care about the outside world. This outside world, the Okasa Loka, comes and goes. There is the end of that world. The universe ends and it starts again. This universe rises and falls, comes and goes. So we don't worry about the world. That's why in Buddhism, you don't hear monks saying, we're going to save the world. Because the world will come and go on its own. What we want to save is understand the nature of the aggregates, understand the nature of sankhara, and free ourselves from suffering. That is why Buddhism is very different from the other religions, because of this understanding of the all, the three worlds, what we have said so far. It's a really wonderful thing to reflect on. Verse 11, therefore, truly, the world knower, the wise one, gone to the world's end, the holy life fulfilled, having known the world's end, he is at peace. He longs not for this world ordinaries. So here the Buddha is talking about the Arhat. And he is one of them, and any other Arhat will also be like that. They are free from the world, they're not troubled by it, they do not want to be reborn here, they do not arise anymore, they're free from suffering. Okay. Now you see the number 356, 357, those are the Burmese numbering for the verses in the Samyutta Nikaya. Okay. So there you are. This is the end of the second sutta, the Rohitassa Sutta, teaching given to the Devaputra. Right? So just spend a couple of minutes just thinking about this wonderful sutta. Okay, now I'm happy that we still have time. So let me just follow the sequence of the sutta I have in this book. No? So the next sutta is called the Lujjati Loka Sutta. This is a very short sutta, so I think I will just go through with you. The name is simply Loka, but then there's this ambiguity in front. Lujjati is a verb. Lujjati means it breaks up. Okay, the discourse on the world, it breaks up. S35.82. The theme is the world is constantly breaking up. Okay. Now, what world is this? Well, we can refer this to the world of beings, if you like. Our body also is growing, so in a sense it's breaking up. We can refer to the physical world, if you like. We also can refer to the world of formations. They're all breaking up, all the same anyway. But the Buddha has something special to say here. Okay, let's go down a bit and look at the teaching of the Lujjati Sutta. Further down. Then a certain monk approached the Buddha. So here a monk comes to the Buddha and asks a question. Siddhartha thus at one side, he said this to the Blessed One, Bhante, it is called the world, the world. In what way, Bhante, is this called the world? Why is this called world? Why is it called Loka? Okay. So here, this monk was curious, and the Buddha teaches with a wordplay. We can call it etymology, how the word Loka originates. Okay, so this, of course, you have to know Pali. The Pali is Lujjati Loka. There you can see the Pali word at the end of the last line there, Lujjati Loka. Lujjati is the verb, then the noun is called Loka. Okay, so this is a very nice wordplay. The word world, because it's called world because it breaks up. Okay, in English it doesn't make sense, but in Pali it makes good sense, right? So this is how the Buddha explains the word Loka. Now you don't find this in any dictionary. It's the way the Buddha explains it. So we're not saying this is a grammatical etymology, but this is a teaching etymology. This is a Dhamma etymology. This is an etymology of wisdom, seeing the world with wisdom. Why is it called the world? Because it is breaking up. So that way we see the world as it is. Okay. Okay, why is it breaking up? Now the Buddha goes into detail. And what bhikshu is breaking up? Okay, now this is our reflection. Okay, we have already studied intellectually. Now let us just listen to the words as we say them in our minds, and then try to remember, try to feel this truth the Buddha is transmitting to us through words. The I, bhikshu, is breaking up. Forms are breaking up. I consciousness is breaking up. Eye contact is breaking up. Now notice you got the I, second line, forms. The I, internal sense faculty, form, external sense object. And then I consciousness. That is the attention that we show. These three combined, if you remember past lessons, this is called an experience triangle. When the three meet, I, form, I consciousness, eye contact arises. Eye contact also breaking up, changing, breaking up. And whatever feeling, so this is the next one, feeling arises from this. And whatever feeling arising with eye contact as condition, whether pleasant, painful, or neutral, that too is breaking up. Now this style sounds familiar, isn't it? It's very much like the fire sermon, right? The Adita Pariyaya Sutta. So this is a reflection on impermanence. Everything is breaking up. Here on 6 levels, the sense faculty, sense object, sense consciousness, sense contact, and feeling. Five levels. Yeah? The ear bhikshu is breaking up. Sounds are breaking up. Ear consciousness is breaking up. Ear contact is breaking up. And whatever feeling arising with ear contact as condition, whether pleasant, painful, or neutral, that too is breaking up. The nose bhikshu is breaking up. Smells are breaking up. Nose consciousness is breaking up. Nose contact is breaking up. And whatever feeling with nose contact as condition, whether pleasant, painful, or neutral, that too is breaking up. Number 7, let's go down a bit more. The tongue bhikshu is breaking up. Tastes are breaking up. Tongue consciousness is breaking up. Tongue contact is breaking up. And whatever feeling arising with tongue contact as condition, whether pleasant, painful, or neutral, that too is breaking up. The body bhikshu is breaking up. Touches are breaking up. Body consciousness is breaking up. Body contact is breaking up. And whatever feeling arising with body contact as condition, whether pleasant, painful, or neutral, that too is breaking up. Then the last one, go down some more. Now this one is the 6th sense. The mind bhikshu is breaking up. Mind consciousness are breaking up. No, sorry, I'll read that again. The mind bhikshu is breaking up. Mind objects are breaking up. Mind consciousness is breaking up. Mind contact is breaking up. And whatever feeling arising with mind contact as condition, whether pleasant, painful, or neutral, that too is breaking up. It is breaking up, bhikshu, therefore it is called the world. So notice how beautiful everything fits in very nicely the way the Buddha puts it as a reflection and impermanence in the nature of the world. Okay, so this is an elaboration of the all, the world, the reflection on a deeper level. Okay, all right. Now we come to the next sutta. The next sutta is called the Lok'anta Gamana Sutta, and this sutta, number 4, is slightly longer than the first sutta on the Devatā, Rohitassa. In fact, this sutta is like a commentary on the Rohitassa Sutta, right? Remember in the Rohitassa Sutta, Rohitassa asked the Buddha, can the end of the world be reached by going? And the Buddha said, no, you can't, right? So this one explains why. Lok'anta Gamana Sutta. Loka, world, anta means end, Gamana, going to the end of the world, Sutta. S35.116. Okay, it's got another name. It's called the Loka Kama Guna Sutta 1. That first discourse on the world as sense courts. The theme is how the world will really end. How does the world really end? So this is what the sutta is about. Okay, so let's look at this sutta now. We go down to the sutta. Next page, I think. Oh, the sutta starts here. Huh? The sutta starts. Put that down slightly a bit more. Now, number 1 is not mentioned because it's already there in the earlier part of the Samyutta. Okay, so that is where the Buddha was residing. So the sutta starts number 2. Bhikshus, the end of the world cannot be known, seen, or reached by going, I say. So here the Buddha is talking to the monks. So he's explaining to the monks now. He must have told the monks about how the Devatā, Devaputta, Rohitassa visited him. So now he's telling the monks, and also for our benefit. Yet bhikshus also say that without reaching the end of the world, there is no making an end of suffering, making an end to suffering, right? So now this is the strange part. The Buddha said this, and then he just leaves, okay? He has the habit of doing this. Now, of course, here in this case, he does this because he knows they will ask Ananda to teach. So in a sense, he is like, Ananda is understudy. He wants to give Ananda this opportunity to teach them the Dhamma, okay? So then soon after the Blessed One, further down, please. Okay, then soon after the Blessed One had left, the monks thought, now Avuso, and here Avuso is plural, so now friends, they're talking to each other. The Blessed One, after giving an instruction in brief without giving the meaning in detail, thus bhikshus, the end of the world cannot be known, seen, or reached by going. Yet bhikshus are also say that without reaching the end of the world, there is no making an end of suffering. He rose from his seat and entered his dwelling. He went into the fragrant chamber, into his room to rest. Now, who will expound in detail the meaning of this instruction that the Blessed One taught in brief without giving the meaning in detail, right? So the monks were wondering. Then they say, oh, the Venerable Ananda is praised by the teacher and held in high esteem by wise companions in the holy life, respected by others. The Venerable Ananda would be capable of giving the detailed meaning of this instruction, given in brief, without the meaning given in detail by the Blessed One. We will approach the Venerable Ananda, and having approached, question the Venerable Ananda over and again on this matter. So let us ask Ananda, okay? So they approach Ananda, section 5. Then the monks approached the Venerable Ananda, and having approached, exchanged greetings with the Venerable Ananda. And when this courteous and friendly exchange was concluded, they sat down at one side. Seated thus at one side, they said to the Venerable Ananda, also the Blessed One, after giving an instruction in brief thus, so they told everything again. Okay, so okay, here the Buddha is talking about reaching the end of the world, and then he didn't explain the details at all. So can you please explain the details to us? Everything's repeated. So now we'll take a break before Ananda gives his teaching. Okay, so it's just nice. We'll take a 5 minutes break, then we'll come back and look at the sutta again.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya. We'll take a 5 minutes break now.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's go to the section on the hardwood simile. All right, here we are. Section 7, further down. Okay, there we are. Hardwood simile. So here, then the monks approach Ananda, and remember, Ananda is not an arahat yet. Ananda is an stream winner, but he's very wise, and often, because he's, the last 25 years, he's always following the Buddha, listening to the teachings. Even if he's not there to listen, the Buddha will later tell him the teaching again. So he has a very good memory. So here he first praises the monks by using what's called a hardwood simile. Now the word hardwood also refers to hard wood. It is the core of the tree that is used by carpenters to make furniture and so on. It's the hard part, the good part of the wood. Okay, so he's using that as a kind of symbol, kind of metaphor. Also, friends, just as a person needing hardwood, seeking hardwood, wandering in search of hardwood, after passing over the root and trunk of a great tree that stands full of hardwood, were to think that hardwood will be found amongst the branches and leaves, even so it has come to this for the Venerable Ones, that you think I should be asked the meaning of this matter, when you were right before the teacher himself. So here, Ananda has great respect for the Buddha. I say, why didn't you ask the Buddha, For also the Blessed knows the known, sees the seen. He is the true I, true knowledge, true Dhamma, true Brahma, teacher and teaching, shower of meanings, giver of the death-free. Death-free is Nirvana. the Lord of Truth, the Tathagata does come. So this to show Ananda has a lot of faith. Streaminers are full of faith. So he's praising the Buddha. He says, you have this wonderful chance to ask the Buddha. Why didn't you ask him? That was indeed the time when you should have asked the Blessed One over and over again, the meaning of the Blessed One's statement. As he explained it to you, you should have remembered it. Okay? And then the monks responded, section 8, truly Avuso Ananda, the Blessed One, has taught us all these things, right? So they repeated all that Buddha taught them about the end of the world, and you can't reach it by going. But then the Buddha went into rest, So we feel that the Venerable Ananda is wise, praised by the Buddha. So here we have approached you. Please teach us the Dhamma. Okay. So further down, these are the politeness shown between monks and teacher. All right, so Ananda replies. Ananda says, so Ananda gives the parable of the hardwood because out of respect for the Buddha. He said you should ask the Buddha. So since the Buddha has not said anything on this, so okay, then I will teach you. This is Ananda's reply. Section 9. Then listen, I will so pay close attention to it, I will speak. Yes, Bhante, the monks replied to the Venerable Ananda. The Venerable Ananda said this, Avuso, the Blessed One, after instructing in brief without giving the meaning in full, thus, Bhikshus, the end of the world cannot be known, seen, or reached by going. Yet, Bhikshus, I also say that without reaching the end of the world, there's no making an end of suffering. And then he rose from his seat and entered his dwelling. I understand the meaning in detail of the teaching, whose meaning was not given in detail as follows. So he says he understands the teaching, and now he gives the teaching. 11. That Avuso, in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world, this is called the world in the Noble One's discipline. Okay, now Ananda using some big words. Perceiver, conceiver. Okay, now we're going to learn what these two words mean in a moment. 11.2. And what Avuso is the world? Is that in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world. Right, so that he's going to explain these two terms. Now, one thing I have to tell you is that these two words are rare. They're not found elsewhere in the suttas. Perceiver of the world. Loka Sanyi. From Sanya, you get Sanyi. Sanyi is one who perceives. Loka Sanyi. And then conceiver of the world, Loka Mani, from the word Mano, meaning mind, Mani, the one who minds, who conceives. Okay, so from there you have a good idea, the meaning of the words already. So what does this mean? Okay, now he explains. The I, Avuso, is that in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world. So, we perceive the world through the eye. We conceive the world also through the eye. Now, although in Pali we use the perceiver, conceiver, the actor, when we understand the Dhamma, we should understand it in terms of action. What does a perceiver do? He perceives. What does a conceiver do? He conceives. There is this conceiving going, there's this perceiving going on. How? Through the eye. All right? The ear, Avuso, is that in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world. The nose, Avuso, is that in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world and a conceiver of the world. The tongue, Avuso, is that in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world. The body, Avuso, is that which in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world. The mind, Avuso, is that in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world. That, Avuso, in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world, this is called the world in a noble one's discipline. So here again, we see Ananda building up on what we have learned in the Sabba Sutta. Okay, Ananda has given quite a deep teaching here. He didn't differentiate between perceiver and conceiver. So now we're going to look at it. All right. So, and his purpose is something else. He's going to say what to do with this understanding. That's why he didn't go into the psychological details, which modern psychologists would tell you. So the meaning is this, just to hold on a while, let me explain to you. Technically, when we say we perceive, it is through the senses, the first 5 senses, if you remember earlier on. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. To the 5 senses, we perceive sound, smell, taste, touch. Okay, that's called perceive. So we perceive the world in that sense. Number 6, that's the mind. We conceive. We conceive the world as sight, sound, smell, taste, touch also. So the mind conceived. That means the mind has its own idea, like in the dream, like in the daydream, in our imagination, in our conceptions. We create this idea of the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. So that's conception. So now when we see this, it's clearer to us now, right? Meaning of perceiving and conceiving. Perceiving means sense-based, conceiving means mind-based. Okay, so this is basically how we today in the modern world understand what the Buddha, what Ananda has said here in a very simple, very broad way, which is enough for the monks to understand. Now he explains, okay, section 12. All right, so here Ananda explains. Shall we go on a bit more? Okay, actually, let's look at section 11.2. Yeah. And what I would say is that in the world by which one is a conceiver of the world, a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world. So here again, notice Ananda brings back the 6 senses. The eye, I would say, is that in the world by which one is a perceiver of the world, a conceiver of the world, and then ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. So it's just to refresh your understanding. That's whether we perceive or conceive, it has to do with the all, the 6 senses. That is our world. So you can see this, the ideas, the concepts, the teaching going in, knitted together in a neat circle. They're all interconnected. All right. So that's all there is. And Ananda said, okay, so this is when you see the world in this way, as the senses, when you think of the world in this way, that's the world. It's your own creation. It sounds simple, but actually it's quite profound. And the monks think, okay, they understand. Just as now we say, okay, I understand. And we keep it like that because there are some more teachings to come. So this is the basic idea we must build so that we can understand, future teachings to come. You need to have this foundation first. It's very important. Okay. This teaching is not complete yet, but it is the foundation for you to start on. In a sense, it's enough for us to know what's going on in the world. Philosophy-wise, epistemology, how we know things. Yeah, it's a really interesting way to talk. You can go around and say, oh, I know this, you know, what is the Buddhist theory of knowledge? But that's only the beginning, right? Anyway, the monks are very happy. They say, okay, oh, now we understand. So they go to the Buddha, and then they tell the Buddha, okay, you know, they always have to go back to the Buddha, to make sure that whatever Ananda has taught, Ananda himself suggests this anyway, that it is a correct thing. The Buddha endorses the teaching. Of course, the Buddha says, yeah, the Buddha hears it and says, very good. I would have said the same thing, right? So you look at section 15.2. Ananda Bhikshus is wise. Ananda Bhikshus has great wisdom. If you had asked me the meaning of this, I would have explained it in the same way that Ananda had explained it. Such is its meaning, so you should remember it. All right, so the Buddha endorses Ananta's teaching. Okay, of course, the Buddha will have his own some more things to teach, but he felt at this point this is enough. All right. Okay, at this point, I want to show you a little diagram of PowerPoint to, like, summarize everything we have learned. Okay, now let's look at the PowerPoint, Wendy. Okay, here we are. So now this is, I'm going to go into detail with this on Sunday morning in the BMM 6, BMM 2021 6 Perception Part 2, where I'll describe in more detail how we sense things, how we perceive things, and how we conceive things. These three are interconnected. And also, some of you may have noticed also I wrote quite a long reflection on Facebook regarding Ayasma Agachito's teaching on open awareness, open mindfulness. So this also is connected. All right, here is a summary of how we experience things around us. The first thing, the most common way we experience things is through senses. So the mind, look at the top line, you see mind, and it's the arrow pointing to mind. Senses, sense objects, right? So the sense objects come into the mind, right? So we call that sensation. Here, remember, the sensation is a Buddhist meaning. It's not the normal sensation you use in daily life. It refers to sensing things, right? And normally we see this in the present, all right? This is what's going on right now. Like now you hear me, okay? So the sensation of hearing arises in your mind. So that is called sensing, all right? Now, I'm not going to go into the detail on the last part because it's going to take some time. So that one I will do on Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, right? So that is sensing, all right? And then I'll be talking about open mindfulness also, how we look at this sensing as our meditation. When we have difficulty in meditating, how do we practice open awareness? By watching whatever comes to our senses on this simple first level. Now then on the second level, the mind perceives mind objects. Notice in this case, the mind and the arrow points away to mind objects. So we look at percepts. For example, we see, what is percept here? It is what we perceive. We look at what we see. Maybe it's a screen in front of us, but we see something impermanent there. I see the letters coming out as I type, and then words appearing and disappearing. So I reflect on impermanence. But all these I learned something from the past. I'm able to read because I learned things from the past. So I look at the words, I know the meaning. That's the meaning. It comes from the past, right? And then the third level at the bottom, the mind conceives thoughts. And from there you get views. And this one normally, it is connected with the future because we imagine, what will this be like? How I want this to be, right? So we create concepts to think of the future. So this is just a quick summary to show you the context of the terms Ananda has presented. It sounds easy, but actually it's quite deep, quite profound. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see. We have one last sutta. I think we can quickly go through this one before question time. We still have a lot of time. Yeah? Okay, let's go on to the last sutta. I'm very happy we can finish all the 5 suttas. The Nidāna Loka Sutta. Now, this is the most difficult of them all. Nidāna means causation, cause effect. Okay. This one, yeah, can we get the sutta first? Sutta 5, yeah, very good, that's the one, yes. Okay. Nidāna means causation, Loka means world, the causation discourse on the world, S 12.44. It has a long title, Samudaya Tangama Loka Sutta, the discourse on the rise and fall of the world. So there you can see impermanence again. Here the theme is dependent arising of the world. So we go do something a little deeper here. Okay, let's go straight into it now. Let's go further down. Down to the sutta itself. Yeah, okay, there you are. Okay, the Nidāna Loka Sutta. Whenever you see the word Nidāna, it has to do with dependent arising. Okay? The Buddha reciting as Savatthi. Bhikshus, I will teach you the arising and ending of the world. Listen, bhikshus, pay close attention to it, I will speak. And that's why I want to show you this sutta, because here the Buddha says he's going to talk about the arising, the beginning and the ending of the world. Because that's what we started with, how the world is going to end. And what does it mean, really mean, end of the world? It's not the universe collapsing, it is the end of suffering, right? So, and then the monks reply, yes, Bhante, and then the Buddha says, and what, bhikshus, is the arising of the world? This is the second noble truth, remember, arising of the world. Bhikshus, dependent on the I and forms, I consciousness arises. The meeting of the three is contact. With contact as condition, there is feeling. With feeling as condition, there is craving, further down, yeah? With craving as condition, there is clinging. With clinging as condition, there is existence. With existence as condition, there is birth. With birth as condition, there arise decay and death, sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. Such is the arising of this whole mass of suffering. This, bhikshus, is the arising of the world. There you are. You see the word world here refers to sankhara loka. So this is, we're talking about formations here. So the word formation covers this, what we're looking at now, this dependent arising, starting with, in this case, the I, okay? And then we see things. We don't just see things, we feel about it. We feel, and then we see something we like, we don't like, or don't care about, and that leads to craving, okay? And then what we crave, we cling to it. Once we get it, we hold on to it, we keep on wanting it. And because of that, we become it, existence, we become it. And then we go on becoming it. We are born like that again and again. And that is suffering. So in short, this is the nature of dependent arising through seeing. Okay? And the same cycle is used for the ear. Now let's look at it. So I'm going to just read it, you reflect on it, and this will be the basis of your wisdom. You reflect on it. No need to think about it. Just let it sink in, know it is there, acknowledge it. Then one day the wisdom will arise. Wisdom is like a seedling, it will grow. You cannot make it, force it to grow faster than it is, okay? You can try by studying other suttas, yes. And then it grows a little faster, maybe you add some plant growth thing and so on. So that is studying the suttas, doing your meditation. Bhikshus, depending on the ear and sounds, ear consciousness arises. The triangle of experience, right? The meeting of the three is contact. With contact as condition, there is feeling. With feeling as condition, there is craving. With craving as condition, there is clinging. With clinging as condition, there is existence. With existence as condition, there is birth. With birth as condition, there arise decay and death, sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. Such is the arising of this whole mass of suffering. This, bhikshus, is the arising of the world of formations. Okay. Now, same thing with nose, the smell. Okay, let's look at number 6 further down. Bhikshus, dependent on the nose and smells, nose consciousness arises. The meeting of the three is contact. Now, let me simplify for you, okay? When there is contact, there is feeling. When there is feeling, there is craving. When there is craving, there is clinging. When there is clinging, there is existence. We become it. When there is existence, there is birth. We go on becoming it. And this is suffering. Okay, so that is simplified. And look, the same thing for the tongue. Number 7, bhikshus dependent on the tongue and taste. Tongue consciousness arises. The meeting of the 3 is contact. With contact as condition, there is feeling. With feeling as condition, there is craving. With craving as condition, there is clinging. With clinging as condition, there is existence. With existence as condition, there is birth. With birth as condition, there arise decay and death, sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. Further down. Such is the arising of this whole mass of suffering. This pictures the arising of the world. Bhikshu is dependent on the body and touches, body consciousness arises. The meeting of the 3 is contact. Here again simplified, when there is contact, where there is sense awareness, there is feeling. When there is feeling, there's craving. When there's craving, there is clinging. When there is clinging, we become what we cling to. And then we become more and more of that thing that we cling to. And this brings suffering, right? And then comes the last one, the mind-based dependent arising. We think, pictures depending on the mind and mind objects, mind consciousness arises. The meeting of the 3 is contact. With contact as condition, there is feeling. With feeling as condition, there is craving. With craving as condition, there is clinging. With clinging as condition, there is existence. With existence as condition, there is birth. With birth as condition, there arise decay and death, sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. Such is the arising of this whole mass of suffering. This pictures is the arising of the world. So look, the Buddha gave a long explanation of the arising of the world. And now, how does the world end? Look at number 10 now. Further down. So for 10, you see everything is repeated. But to show the ending, Bhikshu dependent on the I and forms, I consciousness arises. The meeting of the 3 is contact. With contact as condition, there is feeling. With feeling as condition, there is craving. Okay, notice the Buddha seems to change tack here. It says, okay, well, with feeling, there is craving. Then he says, and wait, hold on, further down again. Number 11.2, but. Once you see but, there is a change in tone. With the remainderless fading away and ending of that same craving comes the end of clinging. So this is the secret. This is the weak link in the dependent arising, craving. If you don't let craving arise, you break the chain. But in practice, your teacher will tell you, actually, you've got to go back one more step with feeling. Because once craving has arisen, it's difficult to stop it. So you watch the feeling. You notice, how do you feel when you see something as nice? You perceive something as nice because in the past you are used to it, and you recognize, wow, feeling nice. Then you say, no, it's just feeling. That's all it is. It's impermanent. I'm letting it go. That's how you overcome craving. That's the meaning here. Okay? Then that's the end of that suffering. So this is how suffering ends in the eye. Okay, let's go on to the ear. Further down, yeah. Okay. So the rest are all the same. I'm not going to read to you because it repeats. So let's go down some more to the ear. So the ear, same thing. When it comes to sound, you hear the sound, you say, okay, it's just sound. I'm not going to like it or dislike it. Then there's no suffering there. Okay. Now, number 3, there's a typo that should be nose constructed world. So same thing with smell. When you smell things, you say smell. So you're not going to judge it and say, oh, nice smell, one more, bad smell, I don't like. Just it's smell. It is impermanent. I'm letting it go. Same thing with taste. Now, taste is a bit difficult. When we eat food, we tend to get attached to the taste and so on. But then the important thing about eating is to enjoy that moment when you're eating it, chewing it and focusing on it, being present to the taste. Okay, this is the taste, this is what nice taste about, this is what curry taste is about, and you just taste it, and then it goes away. And then you are full. Once you are full, you don't feel like eating anymore. That's the end of your suffering. Okay, so in a sense, we can say enjoy the moment, put joy into it, see the impermanence, put joy into it, let it go with joy. That's the meaning. Then you're not attached to it. And then further down, 5. 5 is body, right? Whatever feelings arise in the body, same thing. Right? Whether it's warm or too cold, right? Or you hold someone's hand, you feel very comfortable. It's just a feeling. Okay, let it come, let it go. Show your loving kindness, and then move on. Okay? And then finally, you come to the last one: the mind-constructed world. These are the thoughts that arise in us. 16. Bhikshus dependent on the mind and mind objects. Mind consciousness arises. The meeting of the three is contact. With contact as condition, there is feeling. With feeling as condition, there is craving. But with the remainderless fading away and ending of that same craving comes the end of clinging. With the ending of clinging, there is the ending of existence. With the ending of existence, there is the ending of birth. With the ending of birth, there is the ending of decay and death, sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. Such is the ending of this whole mass of suffering. This, bhikshus, is the ending of the world of suffering, that is. Okay, so here you see in detail how the Buddha applies dependent arising to show the end of the world. And finally, we close our study so we can go on to question time now. Okay, let us go on.
Thank you, Brother Piya, for explaining the sutta. Everybody, please feel free to ask questions, and please turn your video on for better interaction when you ask questions. I'll pass the session to Sister Aixin.
Thank you, Sister Wendy. Thank you and sadhu to Brother Piya for the sutta teaching.
There's a bit of echo in
Dear
your
brothers and sisters, video echo.
Echo, yeah. Is it because?
Is it better now?
Yeah, now it's better. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let me read the first question from Brother Peter Yo. From today's study, the world is the all. The all are the 5 senses plus the mind, and
yes.
there are 3 levels. Or the world which is being, space, and form. The ending of the world is through the perceive and conceive of the 5 senses plus the mind. In short, whatever is it is what we observe and act upon. Am I correct?
The last part about conceiving and perceiving perceiving refers to how we look at the senses. Conceiving is how the mind builds up ideas and so on. So that must be regarded, all that regarded as impermanent as they are, and then we let go of that. Yes, you have the gist of it. Very good. Yeah. Okay. Let's go on.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Piya. The next question is from Brother George. Did the Buddha deny extra senses?
ESP, is it? Not at all. In fact, through meditation, we are more in control of our senses, and therefore we have more power over it. I mean, look at the way we learn things. Now, as you sit here, you can see the world before you. You're all from different parts of the world. Imagine this big globe, and here we are. In one small little screen, we can see each other. Now, isn't that a miracle, in a manner of speaking? How do we do this? It's because we were able to train the mind. We're able to put ideas together. We learn to focus. and you go further back, you learn the ABC, you learn language, right? So in other words, when you master the mind, you're able to master the world around you. That is basically how miracles work. You take that a step further, without all this technology you see, just the mind by itself, okay? For example, you see this, when you exercise, you get strength and you're able to break things. In karate, you know, you're taught how to direct all your energy into one point and then break something, right? So this ESP, extrasensory perception, is how your senses work in a more refined way through your meditation. So that much I can say, but they do not help you to gain awakening in themselves. They are like a spice, you know, something extra you get, side benefits. The real thing you want is freedom from the defilements, and then you awaken and no more suffering. Okay. All right, next question.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya. Next question is from Sister Rachel Wee. If not liking or disliking is taken as the ending of craving, where does that leave neutral feelings? How do we differentiate between neutrality and the ending of craving?
Oh, yes, this is a very important question. You see, in Buddhism, we also talk about aesthetics of beautiful things. We talk about sobana. The word for beautiful is sobana, that's the beautiful mind. The understanding here is not that we should not see what is beautiful and that there are also ugly things. We should not be attached to the beautiful things so that lust arises. And we should not reject and show hate towards the opposite of it, something which is not pleasant and so on, okay? And we should also acknowledge what is in between, neither pleasant nor unpleasant. What is the lesson here? Now, let's say you look at the Mona Lisa, very beautiful painting, this an enigmatic smile, the smile painted by this Leonardo da Vinci is, I mean, it's amazing. He's able to capture this very subtle sense of smiling here, human emotion here. So we look at it, okay, and we say, beautiful, you feel happy. Nothing beyond that, no attachment, okay? But if you are more attached, then suffering comes. It's like the musician, you see, the conductor is so attached to his music, and he hears a wrong note, he gets very angry, very upset. He breaks his baton, he jumps up and down, and so on. So he's suffering. A poor man is suffering because of his love of music, right? But if he's really a Buddhist conductor, you'll say, oh, okay, let's try again. We didn't get it right, okay? So he'll be smiling and laughing. So there's a difference there, you see? Why let yourself suffer when you don't have to, see, when you can do it with a smile? So enjoy beauty with a smile, because it will go away after a while, all right? Like, notice you have so many friends, and we ourselves were young and good-looking ones, and after a while you see all your friends growing old, looking different. You see the movie stars growing old, looking ugly, and you begin to feel sad after a while. So is there no more beauty in the world? That's the way it is, you know, it's impermanent. So maybe that's why we love children. We feel that there is beauty there, we want it to go on. So we appreciate others because of this. But it is because we understand and accept impermanence. We learn to let go of the past, live in the present, appreciate the beauty in the present, because it will go away. That is fine, okay? That's the meaning. So the sutta says, when you notice the pleasant arising, and then you notice attachment to it, let go of that attachment. That's the meaning. That's how you train yourself on that level. Okay. Then once you understand that, then you're able to see beauty and then see it as impermanent, and then you let it go. Okay. You see the opposite of it, again you let it go. You see the third, the neutrality, neutral aspect also, you let it go. Then that way you really enjoy life, because you are present here. To be present, you have to let go of what is, after all, passing. It's not that you are forcing it to happen. It is happening, and you accept it as it is. That's the meaning here. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Then. Okay, let's go on, please. Next question. Any more questions?
Thank you, brother. And Sister Gacy.
Okay, yes, good see you.
Sister Gacy, can you unmute?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Piya,
Okay.
for your choice of
Yeah, microphone.
and putting them all together, and it makes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yes.
Yes, can.
Louder. So your choice of sutras and putting them together, it makes sense and to see the connection. So I've got two questions.
Sure.
I just want to clarify when you talk about that Lok'anta, Gamana, perceiver, conceiver, Loka, money, conceiver. So to conceive in English is like you mentioned, to dream up, to make up. It's quite similar to like to formulate, to form mental formation and sankhara.
Yeah.
And let's go back to, that's how I kind of connect it to what you mentioned about sankhara, Loka, and that's suffering. So is that correct to say? Because when we talk about sanya and sankhara, they are fairly closely related. Yeah,
exactly. So sanya, perceiving, is when you see what's out there through seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and you create ideas. Conceiving is even when the senses are not present, you give birth, you give birth to these ideas in your own mind, you imagine it. So this is another way sankharas arise. Yeah, so yes, you can say that. That's why Ananda mentioned everything together. He didn't separate them. But I will go into more details, as I said, on Sunday morning into this, what you have said. We're going to elaborate on that. Okay?
Right. The second question is related to Rachel's question about liking and disliking and the neutral feeling. Well, I've met a teacher, a Thai teacher who taught, in Thai, mai yin di, mai yin rai, which is no liking and no disliking. So in that sense, that you do not have craving, you do not run after what you like. There's no greed, and if you do not have disliking, then you would not have aversion or hate. And I'm not too sure about the third root of delusion. Would that kind of related to this neutral feeling? Would you say?
The third root, you mean neutrality?
Yeah, because when we talk about greed, hatred, and delusion, that's kind of related to liking, disliking, and neutral feeling. So
your question about delusion, is that?
Yeah. So is it somehow related to neutral feeling? Or?
Oh yes, delusion is very tricky. In fact, it's very interesting because what we are studying today, I will be going to details on Sunday, because we're going to talk about how we're going to talk about vipallasa, where things are distorted. We see something as impermanent to be permanent, something that is impure to be beautiful, pleasurable, and so on. We see the opposite of it, and that's delusion. Delusion causes us to see things wrongly, perceive wrongly, conceive wrongly, and that brings suffering because we are not in tandem with the reality before us. So when you see things as they really are, they're all passing, they're all impermanent. So you appreciate it, but that's all you can do. You cannot grasp it. It's just like our breath. The most important thing in our life is our breath. We breathe in, we can't hold our breath too long. You got to give it back. That's the essence, the spirit of renunciation. You cannot hold it back, not too long. You got to give it back. It's the nature of life. That is the essence of impermanence. That's what gives life meaning. Things change. Okay? And beauty is precious because of change. If beauty can remain forever without changing, it's got no value, you know, right? We don't have nothing to compare it with. So it's because comparison. When we see the beautiful, the ugly, then we appreciate beauty more. So it goes like that, right? If every day we hear classical music, the same thing over and over, we don't appreciate it anymore, right? Because classical music is the way people play together. A symphony is amazing how all these players can play together, just the right measure of sound, the right mixture, and you get this amazing feeling through the music. And then it goes away. That's the end of it. Okay? You have to listen to it because of the impermanence. That's what makes it beautiful. I think it was Mozart, I think, said, we're not sure exactly how he said it, that in music, it is not the notes that make it beautiful, it's the silence in between the notes that make it beautiful. When you notice the silence, that's what makes life really beautiful. You see the impermanence in things that makes life precious, because life is impermanent. That is the essence of Buddhist aesthetics, you know. All right? Okay, maybe one day we might talk about Buddhist aesthetics. It's something new to me too. Okay, next question, please. If you have any more.
Thank you, Brother Piya.
Yeah.
Next question from Brother LCU.
Okay.
Buddha then returned to teach on the ending of the world by addressing to the world of the five senses, plus the mind and so on, for us to identify the origination, and if we could observe and act upon for the contact and feeling, we will be able to end our own world of craving and clinging, thereby relieving us from suffering and thereby ending the world of suffering. Am I correct?
In essence, yeah. I mean, to be able to see the rise and fall of things. To simplify it, if you can see the rise and fall of things, rise and fall also means condition, effect, independent arising. You see, they go cause, effect. So because of that, it's impermanent. And where's the weak link? The weak link is where feeling arises. You watch the feeling, don't go into craving. Then you got it right. Okay? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya. Now, Brother LC, you add on to
okay.
To the question just now. He mentioned, however, I myself find that all habit dies hard, and understanding itself is insufficient to break through. We humans are at times, through procrastination and self-justifiable excuse, tends to keep on going through the samsara wheel. With the determination and commitment, yes, we want, but we pause, delay, and repeat. Having understood, we know we bear the consequences, but only when the pain and experience kneel in that we are awakened. I'm sad that I am in that cycle.
Self-realization. Well, that is wise. That itself is wise. To that extent, you're wise. So look at yourself as on a journey, you see. We are all not awakened, but we are moving. We are listening to the Dharma, our understanding grows, okay? The fact that we can sit here for 2 hours and listen and then reflect on it, that is a wonderful step, right? So don't underestimate your ability to learn. When you put your mind to it, wonderful things happen, right? 19 years ago, I started a simple project. I said, okay, I'm going to teach Dharma, you know, and then it grew into this amazing translational project, you know. And then every day just doing a bit, and then you have, wow, so many things, so many sutras are translated. So don't underestimate good. The Buddha says, drop by drop, the pot is filled, right? The goodness is like that. And as you grow old, I look back now, I say, wow, look at all the suttas I've done. All that I need to do is just read them and then teach you. I don't have to prepare so much now. I've taken 50 years to prepare to teach you today. So that's how good karma comes back to you. So you've done your homework. So don't feel bad about what you have not done. That can't be helped. What you have done will help you work on that, and that will help you move on and accept life as it comes now, and deal with it. Try to help people. Rana has been doing some amazing little miracles of her own. She goes to get food, breakfast and stuff, and then there's this old lady sitting there, and then she gives part of our breakfast to this old lady. Is all alone sitting there, nobody caring for her, and then she looks so weak, and say, anyone giving you food? Said no. I said, would you like some food? She said yes. So she gives her some food, and she's very happy. And then another day, there is this sick old man asking for money. Can I have some money to buy food? Our policy is not to give money to people, because that might tempt them and they go on collecting the money, and then they don't actually buy proper food, or worse, they might go for drugs. So normally what she did is she said, okay, I'll get you some food. What would you like to eat? I get for you. Say, oh, I like to eat pig's organ. Say, oh no, sorry, I'm vegetarian. So she got in some vegetarian noodles, and he happily ate it, and that's a happy deed for the day. So there's little things like that you do, and you find you feel happy, and that's the day. All right, that's how we live as Buddhists. Simple acts of goodness, and you move on along that line. Okay. All right, next question.
Thank you, Brother Piya. I think that's all.
Okay, 5 minutes more
the
to
chat
go.
box.
We're going to finish anyway, so just nice. I'm very happy I finished 5 suttas with you. They're all interconnected, so read through them again. There's lots of extra information there. I have added the notes on Loka Sanyi and Loka Mani, that is world perceiver, world conceiver, in the latest text sent to you today, the upgrade on ST 7.4, I think. It is on the Telegram, so download it. It is posted a while ago today. Okay? So that's the latest one with some additional part in the introduction. So this is the time you go back, just look at the introduction, the part that you like to read, just read it. The part that you find difficult, you don't like, just forgo it, don't worry about it. One day you'll read it in the future. Okay, any questions meantime? You can also ask live if you like.
Okay, just hang on for a while before I take a class photo.
Oh, okay, sure, anytime now. It's the part where it's
Okay.
really wonderful. Everyone is excited and happy. Class is over.
Okay, that's good. Just wait for everyone. All right. Wow, we got some new people today.
Yes, wonderful, yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Every smile. Thank you. One more. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. Thank you very much. That's
Okay, sadhu to all.
Thank you.
Wait, before that, any last minute questions? We got a couple of minutes.
It's very interesting, Brother Piya.
Yes.
Wow, it's so much to do with Satipatthana. No, I'm already pondering over all these senses. It's very nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we have another class coming on Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
Goes a little deeper than this. So
yeah,
it's amazing how we didn't plan this connection. What we learned today forms the basis of what we're going to continue on Sunday morning. Also. Yeah, and a really nice PowerPoint diagrams done by Ratna, which we'll be using. That
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, those of you who miss it, you can just go to YouTube and look at all those PowerPoints.
Yeah. So
for our first study here, we don't need PowerPoint because the notes are all in the suttas itself.
Yeah, I have to read it and then.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Sorry to interrupt. Brother LCO, you got a question?
I'd like to ask,
Yeah.
if I have friends who want to join this group, how do I get them into it?
Rana? Unmute, please. Unmute.
No, I asked if I have friends who want to join the group.
Yeah, Rana is answering.
How do I get them to join?
You ask them to join our Telegram group.
Telegram group.
Just join the Telegram group and submit the name in it.
Yeah, you join. You know, you are a member of Telegram group, right?
Yes.
The same way you did it. Tell them to join Telegram group.
Yes.
So I just send the link over to. I just send the link over to them. Is it?
And tell them to check the posting to the advertisement for the date. Okay. They must give full name. Don't give Brad Pitt or something like that. We do not know who you are. Give your real name. Okay. Don't give any codes. Then we don't know who you are. Then
Sure.
They won't let you in. You know.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Okay. Any other last minute questions? Just the timing is just nice.
Anybody else have any questions, please?
The suttas are getting more interesting. So we're kind of like halfway through it's already June, halfway through the year. The weather is very warm in Singapore. It's durian season, by the way. Now, durian season in Singapore. I hope the durians are cheap this year. Don't go to China.
Oh, durian now. Wow.
Are there durians in Germany?
Very expensive. So it's little 10 euro.
Oh, we'll email some to you.
10 euro is $20. So small.
Yeah.
And frozen durian. Cherries is at the moment, a lot of cherries.
Yes. Okay, very good. So
yeah,
I'll
join on Sunday morning.
Wonderful. Any more questions?
Okay. No more questions.
Okay,
for
we'll
today.
end here then.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for your questions. We will do the closing now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, let us spend a quiet moment now. This is a very precious moment where we focus our minds. We have got together here and spend this 2 hours keeping the precepts, doing some meditation, listening to the Dhamma. We are building up our own practice, strengthen our practice. So continue doing that, and this will bring you great happiness to come. And you bring happiness to others wherever you go, so that your links of loving kindness and wisdom will grow. Okay, it's the time to reflect. By all these good deeds you have done, may I be well and happy. May my family be well and happy. And the thoughts to your close, to your friends, your relatives, people who are important to you. It's a time to send your thoughts to them, wish them well, wherever they are. People who are sick, may they quickly recover, and so on. With that, let us close this study by showing our gratitude to the three jewels, by bowing Christ, to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava, Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Bow down. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo, Dhammang Namassami. Bow down. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, Sanghang Namami. Bow down. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, good afternoon to people in Europe. It's afternoon now, and Peru seems, Chile seems to be cold. It seems to be chilly.
Thank you, Bhante.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.